1987 with Steve Lynn, and he was a survivor of the Great Depression. Steve, I have some questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you born?
I was born in Brooklyn, but we moved to Texas and we lived in Hooverville, so it really wasn't a real city.
Mm-hmm. What was it like to live in Hooverville?
It wasn't the best life. We only had one bed, and my mom and dad slept in it. Not really my dad, because he wasn't really home much. And we had a pull-out couch that me and my two brothers slept on. And I usually fell off, and it hurt a lot. So it was a rock, it was a big rock.
How was the food in the country versus the city?
Well, most nights we had a regular dinner, but sometimes we didn't have much. But usually enough to eat, really.
So is it better in the country?
And it was much better in the country because we actually had more food. And we did visit a couple cities, like big cities, but they didn't have much food. All they had was a small smackerel of honey.
What kind of sicknesses did you get from dust storms, if you had any?
Oh, actually, my brother did get sick, and he almost died from valley fever. His life was saved by a few nickels. It was hard to get medicine and a doctor for him to live.
Mm-hmm. So that was caused by a dust storm?
Yes, actually.
What was your main job?
Well, my main job was working on the railroads because the jobs were paying half the payment, and everybody wanted the biggest paying job, so it was a gift that I got. I mean, back in my heyday, we did not get much.
Well, that's from Steve Lynn. That's all.
Stock market crashed on Thursday, October 24, 1929. As more people started to invest in the stock market, stock prices became higher until the prices became more than the companies that people represented. At that time, everyone wanted to sell things instead of buy, so the prices for stocks dropped more than they should have. That made the stock market crash entirely.
After the crash, Hoovervilles were very popular at that time, but not in a good way. Hoovervilles were homes for the ones who couldn't afford their own home. Herbert Hoover was our president during the Great Depression. That is how people got the whole name for Hoovervilles. He thought that the world would run itself, but it didn't, and people started accusing him for the whole depression.
During Hoovervilles, dust storms happened often. Dust storms are drought or no water in the ground. They cause very harmful diseases like valley fever, asthma, COPD, and more. Dust storms made food hard, and food riots made it worse. Food riots were people who took food without permission or without paying.
In 1938, the recession brought a lot of people down, emotional-wise, and it was worse than the crash. But when FDR was elected, he made his New Deal program, which brought money home to the poor families. But in 1939, Hitler started World War II, and France and Britain fought against Germany, Japan, and Italy until 1941, when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. America joined World War II, and over 17 million new jobs were opened, and Americans were getting drafted for the war, and thus World War II truly started and the Great Depression ended. Fun fact time with Jake. Around 11,000 banks failed during the Great Depression, leaving many without savings or money at all. Though, one good thing came, and that is the Captain America comics, which were made in 1941 when America joined World War II and ended the Great Depression.
During Hoovervilles, dust storms happened often.
Dust storms happened often.
You're on.
I'm sorry.
Dang it.
Why is that so? It has to be right here. Hold on, 1 second.